Welcome to a very special episode of Ask Dubey. This show is a presentation of Bet365. Hockey fans, check out Bet365's 3-goal early payout. When your team goes up 3, you get paid. It's that simple. Download the app today. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. Well, when I said very special episode, I meant it. It's our first time with a guest, and we do not mess around here on Ask Dubey when we get guests. I'm going to attempt an introduction. I'm sure I'm going to leave stuff out. He needs no introduction. But drafted second overall by the Hartford Whalers in 1993, he won the Hart and Norris in 99-2000. First defenseman since Bobby Orr to win both in a single season. Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Olympic gold, member of the 3 Triple Gold Club, 5-time All-Star, Hall of Fame inductee in 2015. Oilers fans, I'm missing something, but welcome to the show, Chris Pronger.
You're forgetting Dubey, former teammate.
Former teammate, sort of. I was working my way in there. I was a former attempted teammate.
A young
So how's it
Devan
going,
Dubnyk.
Prongs? What you got a lot going on these days that we'll get into, but we'll get into this new author to add to the
Yes,
to the resume.
right over here on my shoulder, right there.
I see it. So
It's interesting writing a book.
yeah,
You dive deeper into things that you have suppressed or don't want to think about, and so as you kind of go deeper, both on younger stuff and middle-aged stuff and then older stuff, it was interesting writing the book and thinking about how to present things that other people could get something out of it. It was a little bit for myself in the sense of being able to finally take stock into different things that I was able to accomplish, good and bad, and try to walk that fine line throughout the course of the book.
yeah. So I guess I was thinking about that when it comes to writing a book, not on the material side, but who helps you write it. What kind of kicked off the idea that you want to do this? Obviously, you've got an incredible amount of experiences and ups and downs and all that. But when you're actually going through the process of writing it and structuring the book and that, what does that kind of look like?
Yeah. Well, I had kicked tires on writing a book for a number of years, and just for this reason or that, it didn't feel right. Maybe the framework, maybe the story, maybe what they were asking me to do. But as over the last couple of years, as I started building out my speaking platform and really having concrete messaging and things that could provide people with a lot of impact, started to see a framework of a book as I researched experiences and life lessons for my speeches. Things really started to kind of come together, and I could see a framework where people could get a lot out of it, and it could really kind of tell a story, and whether it be people kind of in my shoes or the book is kind of in their shoes, and they're utilizing some of those lessons to help level up and be difference makers in their own life and make change. And we all face our own levels of adversity and different things that we all face throughout the course of our lives, and being able to meet those head on and being able to use those moments as an opportunity to grow and evolve is very important.
For sure. So let's. This is a Q&A show, so we're going to get a couple of those out of the way, and then we'll dive a little bit more into this book. So we'll get into your time in Edmonton, which I remember. I was just signed. I was in the background for that 06 run. I was watching like a little kid, cheering you guys on. Talk to us a little bit about that run, what you remember from it, what made it special, and obviously just one game short.
Yeah. I think more so just the guys and what it took for us to get to that moment. It wasn't. It was a long process, as you know, when with a team coming together, and we made the trade for myself, Michael Pekka, Jaro Spacek in February, and then obviously the deadline guys, and there was a couple of signings, Todd Harvey and a couple other guys that kind of came on at the same time, and just finding chemistry, but I think more importantly, finding that belief in one another and really understanding what we could accomplish when we come together as a group. And there's no greater time than that. Like late in the year, I think it was game 79 or so where we made the playoffs, and I think we beat Anaheim. I can't remember if it was in overtime or if it was late in the third period, but Hemmer scored a huge goal. And, just thinking back on that run and the time, Fernando Pisani went on that crazy scoring run. We had everybody kind of, from an offensive side, everybody kind of be a part of it and participate in scoring big goals. But I think the biggest thing that I remember is just how we came together and that belief we were willing to do whatever it took, game in, game out, different guys stepping up, blocking shots. I remember one game in Detroit, late in the game, Sean Horkoff dove to try to block a shot with his face. And moments like that really resonate. And they, if he's willing to do that, why can't I do that? And why can't the next guy? And so, it spirals from there and snowballs. And I think we really kind of caught that bug, so to speak, and really came together, and then just everything kind of got in sync. And we battled so much adversity, not only in that Detroit series, going down 2-0 to San Jose, looking like we're going to get wiped out in Game 3 in Edmonton, and coming back to win that game, and then go on to win 4 straight against San Jose. And then we kind of felt, we got something special here. We believe that we can beat any team, and get off to a great start against Anaheim, win 2 there, win 1 back home, and lose Game 4, and then go in and win Game 5 in Anaheim. And all of a sudden, like, we had a cast of characters that I don't think anybody even a lot of guys hadn't won a playoff round, let alone go to conference finals, and then let alone go to the Stanley Cup Final. So, obviously a lot of excitement. My first cup opportunity, and everybody else. And so it was, that was the chance that got away, I think, losing a heartbreaking Game 7. Roley gets hurt, and all the rest of that. It still doesn't sit well. As you can tell, I still think back on, we're up 3-0 in Game 1. I scored that penalty shot goal, but we were up 3-0 late in the second period. They scored a late goal, and that kind of gave them a little bit of juice coming out for the third. Roley gets hurt, and everything kind of spiraled from there. Valiant effort to come back in the series, win a shorthanded overtime winner by Pies, and in the 5th game, come home and dominate in Game 6, and just came up a little short in Game 7. And unfortunately, somebody's got to lose. We didn't feel like we deserved to, but I'm sure they felt the same.
Yeah, I don't think anybody felt like you guys deserved to win. I think that's what was so cool about that run too. It's kind of everything you touched on, just the cast of characters and how everybody came together. You mentioned Horkoff. I remember Ethan Morrill, same thing, just going head first in front of shots. And that was the infamous, when you guys were trying to get into playoffs, the Dallas game where Patrick Stefan missed the open net, which all the kids see now, and they don't even know the whole story behind it, that was a big part of you guys getting in there. But just kind of how everybody came together. Yeah, and you guys went from, this team just squeaking in the playoffs to all of a sudden everybody chipping in and dominating and really looking like you can beat everybody. I've never been that close. I can't imagine. It's got to be tough for sure. One question that was written in that we mentioned before was what were the vibes like in the city around? Obviously, you guys are kind of separate from that, but it's impossible not to feel when you're in Edmonton on these last couple runs compared to that 06 one, because I think these last couple runs are a little bit more, I don't know if you can expect a cup run, but those teams were expected to win, and they were expected to do well in the playoffs. And your guys was a little more Cinderella story, and which can obviously be a little more fun too.
Yeah. I think, with Connor and Leon and the teams that they had, they've had some playoff success and some playoff runs, not getting that far. So it was, to your point, I think it was expected. And this one, they hadn't been in the playoffs in a long time. I think they'd only won the one that Todd Marchand scored that overtime goal against Dallas. And so it'd been a little bit, obviously, since they had gone to the playoffs and played on that stage. And so, the fact that we were able to, get in late, I think that really brought our team together. And then, playing Detroit, powerhouse, all the rest of that. But coming back to Edmonton and just the vibe in the city, the energy, with each series, you could feel the temperature rise in the marketplace, and just the buzz in the city. White Ave kind of getting after it. And, I had obviously my brother and some buddies coming in for a lot of the games, and it was they said it was a lot of fun. I didn't quite make it out there, but they said it was a lot of fun, and everybody just took hold and really kind of came along for the ride, which is really cool that they could. I still have people all the time come up to me, man. That was so much fun. It was such a blast, and unfortunately, we didn't finish it in the right manner, but. To compare it to, I was fortunate enough to go up to Game 5 last year in Edmonton and kind of just feel the buzz in the building and just how electric it was. And they probably didn't play their best game, but still the energy in the building and just how loud the building was. It's not quite like Rexall, those new buildings, a little bit different, but still I was, my daughter and son were there and they were shocked with how loud it was and just you could just feel and sense something was about to burst. Had the Oilers won that game, and that building would have been off the hook.
Oh yeah, it's a special place. So, okay, let's get into the book a little bit. So the book is called Earned: The True Cost of Greatness from One of Hockey's Fiercest Competitors. So we talked earlier a little bit about the thought and going into the book. Let's get into a little bit of your youth hockey, because that's obviously something right now I'm getting into. My kids are 12, 10, and 8. So I'm seeing the side of that here in Minnesota. And we talked earlier on the phone a little bit about kind of your youth hockey experience. And what was that like for you and the path that you took and why?
Yeah, I think for me, I just, my brother played AAA. It was a travel team. I'm from a small town, for those that don't know, Dryden, Ontario, northwestern Ontario. There's Kenora, Dryden, Thunder Bay's 4 hours away, Winnipeg's 4 hours away. So we're kind of in the middle there. And Kenora had a AAA team that they kind of put together from our little region. And my brother played on that team, and they would travel up into the Manitoba Junior League or Manitoba AAA League. And they'd go up to Flin Flon and Thompson. I mean, they're going 14-hour bus rides and all the rest of that. And, I just saw the toll it took on my brother. And, while I'm sure it was a lot of fun, what isn't, when you're on a bus like that with a bunch of buddies and all the rest of it. I just saw the toll it took, and we had a lot of, because I played with them all the time, and we played road hockey and all kinds of different stuff up at the outdoor rink, and I was always immersed in his friends and age group because I was always playing with those guys, and I personally just didn't want that, and felt like I could go. I played high school hockey in grade 9 and grade 10. And we had a lot of guys coming back from junior opportunities, and we had an older team. So I was 14 playing against 19, 20-year-olds. So for me, I felt like that was going to be a good test. It was going to be a good opportunity for me to, number one, stay at home, get a somewhat normal high school experience, and then I'll be able to play against some good players and some older kids that were more mature physically. And I would have to learn leverage and learn, while I may have been tall, I certainly wasn't big. Scrawny little kid. So I had to learn leverage and learn how to, handle that size differential in front of the net and in the corners and whatnot. So for me, it was actually a valuable experience, albeit a lot of people didn't think so. And the fact that I thought we had a good team, we had a chance to go to OFSA, which is the All-Ontario High School Championships, which we did both of the years and got scouted down there. And, I started talking to Stratford. I was always planning on going to college hockey like my brother. He was at Bowling Green. And so the Flanagans ran Stratford, and one son, Dennis, was an assistant coach with Bowling Green. So there's a little bit of a pipeline there. That's how Rob Blake and Nelson Emerson got there. And that's how anyways. So at every juncture, there was always an opportunity to bet on myself, maybe take the road less traveled, maybe, follow my own unique path and journey. And so I try to tell people, like, there is no perfect path. There is no exact way to, I want to play in the NHL. It's about opportunity, but it's also about going and earning it. No pun intended. But you have to earn every opportunity. You got every look, every game, every chance you're in practice. In the gym, what have you, and you never know when you're going to get those opportunities. So it's whether you play AAA, high school, whatever it is. I mean, I know we're dating ourselves a little bit, but Scott Stevens, like he didn't play AAA, he played like A hockey, and then he got drafted and played in the OHL for a year, and then he went to the NHL, like bing, bing, bing. So there is no, correct path, right path. And I think people have to maybe understand that. And I get the FOMO and times change and all the rest of that. But I'm a firm believer, especially with the internet and the amount of cameras and all the things that are at these events and venues, somebody's going to see it. And if you're that good, somebody's going to come watch you or take a look at the video or what have you, and certainly give you an opportunity to showcase your talents somewhere.
Yeah, I love that, and I think it's a great message and kind of lesson for people nowadays, because there is that. And again, obviously times have changed, but the youth hockey has gotten crazy. I guess what do you think? And again, it's completely different times, but what are your views on kind of where with youth hockey and where it's at right now? Because I'm getting right in the middle of it, and there's definitely, I'm in Minnesota here, so it's the heart of a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of it's, or a lot of it, is too much.
Yes.
And I love that, like you just talked about, creating your own path, and if you're good enough, you'll get seen and you'll get there, and it's just doing the right things along the way. What do you think about youth hockey right now? If you could change something, or what?
Well, the other thing too is this sports specialization at a young age. It doesn't make sense to me. We look at you need to be an athlete first. We need to learn as kids. We need to play other sports. We need to play baseball. If you can hit a baseball, think about the hand-eye coordination. If you can dribble a basketball, think about the hand-eye and the coordination it takes. If you play football, the physical and the leverage and the angles. Golf. Like, just think about, I played seasonal sports, so I played volleyball, in high school. I played volleyball, then I played hockey, then I played badminton, baseball, golf. Like, I kind of ran the gamut. Kind of odd, some odd sports, but for me, it was just about being an athlete and just having fun. Hockey's supposed to be fun. These kids are supposed to enjoy going to the rink, enjoy practicing. It's not a job. They shouldn't be getting paid. First and foremost, they're kids. I want them to leave with a sweaty head and a slushy and, smiling like they want to go back, and kind of create that passion for the game, so that, once they get through puberty and you have an idea of what they like and don't like, then you can maybe sports specialize at 15 or 16. But, 8, 10, your age's kids, 8, 10, 12, I mean, these kids are, and the amount of pressure and the expectations on these kids at such a young age, that they've got to keep up with the Joneses. They've got to play on this team because that's how you get over here, and that's how you get a scholarship, and that's how you get drafted, and no, that's not true. That's actually, the opposite. And I think that's really become a stigma. And I think, first and foremost, I wanted my kids to enjoy it, have fun, enjoy watching the games, enjoy playing the games, all the rest of that. And then from that, once you figure out you have a passion for it, you love it, that's your sport. Now you can dive head first and try to learn and hone your craft to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, and I think that's something too that I always think of and remind people, is that I think now there's so much focus on the end goal and where am I going, and we're missing this window it's the best for, again, 99.9% of them that aren't going to play in the NHL. This is the best time of your life to be playing hockey,
the
to
relationships
enjoy it, the
you
memories, everything, and I feel like there's too much overlooking and looking past that as to what's next. Where am I going? How do I get there? Instead of truly being present and enjoying the best time of hockey of their lives. So that's another whole segment of podcast.
Oh boy, you can do a whole Ask Dubey on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So
good luck on that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get into the book a little more here. I like this question because that came in. Was there a moment in your career that you saw completely differently after reflecting on it while writing the book?
I would say, as I look back on, as I look back in the book, I quit drinking 2.5 years ago, And as I started writing the book, all the stupid decisions I made were when I was drinking. It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I guess as I look at it, and I'm looking, look at this situation, this instance, that mistake, what's the common denominator? And so as I peel back the onion layer, look at that. Thanks for asking that question, because it just came to me. No, I'd been thinking about it a little bit prior to that, but no, it certainly opened my eyes to that particular part of my life, and just the decision making and the clarity and all the rest of that stuff. And no, I think drinking certainly had a big part of that, good and bad. But like anything, we have to accept it and learn from it.
Yeah. Accept it and exactly that. Move on and enjoy how life is now going forward. I guess. All right. Well, give us just a little run through of the book. Kind of how it's structured, start to finish. I just want people to get excited about this and go out and buy it. So give us a little run through on what it looks like.
Yeah, start kind of with that journey, youth hockey. At every twist and turn in the book, I bet on myself, and challenge myself at every turn, needing to level up, needing to play with better competition, needing to push myself to that next level. And throughout the course of the book, you're going to be challenged as a reader. I utilize those moments to then have you self-reflect and think back on either what you've done or where you're going, and is it the right path for you? Not for me, not for your next door neighbor, not for whomever. It's for you. And so as you go throughout the book, it's also taking ownership of your life, your career, wherever you're at, and challenging you to, are you doing enough? You set this big audacious goal. How dedicated are you? What are you willing to sacrifice? How hard are you working? If there's one thing that I've learned, it's most people do not self-assess very well. They think they're doing more than they really should be. And so it really kind of puts the ownership on the reader to challenge themselves and put them in a position to question, are they doing enough, and what can they do more of?
I love it. So it's not just not just a Chris Pronger hockey story. It's truly a book to learn from.
Yeah, I utilize some of the stories to kind of make points. So that it is part memoir. I look at it as part memoir, part life lessons. It's a playbook of sorts to kind of give people a glimpse into those moments, and the good and bad. There's plenty of bad.
Plenty of good too.
Yeah, plenty of good, but plenty of bad. And, I think people will appreciate that it's not just all roses. It's, there was a lot of tough decisions, good, where I had to make the right decision. I did, and took advantage of an opportunity, or made a wrong decision and had to fix it. And, I talk about that in the book too.
Oh, that's exciting. So let us know then, when and where can we pick this thing up?
You can get this book off Amazon. You can go to my website, chrispronger.com/book, and on there's a link for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever you get your books from. In there's also book packages where if you buy the book, you can put your code in there and you get we'll send you a couple free early look at the chapters if you get it before the release. And then also I did a podcast with John Hamm and Joe Buck, talking about my first year in St. Louis. John Hamm was my bartender. And I used to frequent his restaurant and have beers after practice and drown my sorrows from getting booed on home ice. And obviously Joe Buck was early in his career and his broadcasting career. So it kind of how we talk about our rises, humble beginnings to where we got to.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I definitely will be picking up a copy of this. Prongs, thanks so much for this. This is awesome. We could talk for hours. Really, really appreciate you coming on the show. and I'll be reading the book and letting you know what I think.
Awesome.
But I know it
Yeah,
sounds
perfect.
pretty awesome. All right, that's it for a very, very special episode. Again, thanks so much to Chris Pronger for getting on. Go get that book, Earned: The True Cost of Greatness, from one of hockey's fiercest competitors. I know there it is on the screen. I know I'm going to be picking up a copy myself. Sounds like an awesome read. This segment brought to you by our friends at Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products are in the Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, Wilhauk Beef Jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. It is so good. Wilhauk Beef Jerky gladly fills orders of any size. Find their beef jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location, or you can order online. Get your jerky on. For more info, go to wilhaukbeefjerky.com.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.